Can you talk a little
Thank
bit
you.
about the Christmas stockings because it kind of developed over time through donations? What kinds of components go into the stocking to make it so special?
When did we redefine them? We tried to standardize them in 2015. The stockings were just the easiest way to keep them uniform. And also, we knew that's like, it's not realistic for us to actually find out what does every child want and then get that present delivered. And we knew that it was also, that wasn't the meaning of the event, but we wanted something fun. So I remember, again, from my childhood, stockings are not usually filled with presents. It's usually like snacks and toys. Mom always put a Mekon in there, something healthy. You were angry if you got raisins and peanuts. But so it's the same concept.
Right.
It's just like snacks and toys. And then
Doritos.
2015, when we decided to use fitness as a tool for workshops, we that was when we decided to add like a jump rope or even bouncy balls, or we discussed like, stress toys or different things. So every year we kind of discuss it from about April, and then we'll figure out what goes in. And then of course the card component is the main feature of the stocking.
Let's go back a little bit in 2013, and you had some band playing. And when did you start working with performers like Stuart O? Was that around that time or a little bit later?
No, that was after, I
Yeah,
think,
we had performers. No,
2015 or something.
2014 Stuart O came, but 2012 we had this amazing band from Osaka, like a
Oh
50
yeah.
people band come up, and the energy was electric. And then the next year we had a performer. It was kind of a country performer, and it was not as exciting. And then 2014 Stuart O came up, and we were just like, oh my goodness. That's when the train, like the Soul
Yeah.
Train, took off, and we were very grateful to like that he was just as excited. Like he was like, this is a great opportunity for me. It's such a win-win. And then I think it was that year as well that I was introduced to Hayami Yu, and she really
Right.
wanted to do something. And the people that live in this area, they're all big fans of hers from, a long time ago. So when she came up, they were just like, oh, super happy. So we kind of had something for everyone. The elderly residents, they really appreciated like Hayami Yu, and we have another performer called Charlie who sings enka. And then they were like, we just want Stuart O. So he's been part of it since.
He's got so much great energy. It looks like in 2014 you were working with some farmers, Green Farmers Association. Is that right?
That is correct. Dad, I remember you driving down the first tractor for this project.
Ah, yeah. I
Yeah. So
remember that.
started actually 2012, and we were supporting some local farmers trying to reclaim their land. And then we were able to get funding from the British Chamber of Commerce and Refugees International and many other companies to buy the equipment. And then, it was buying the equipment for them and then helping them sell the produce locally. I mean, the main impact of this project, it really gave people not only something to do, like a purposeful meaning again, but also an income. So
Yeah,
we grew.
because until that time, the farming kind of gone on the second burner or the back burner because the main industry was the sea related production, fishing or growing of the different sea products. So farming was there was a lot of fields that were abandoned, just left to become jungle again. And so when there was nothing to do in the sea, some people began saying, "Well, why don't we just get these fields back and running?" And so that's how we start. So we bought our first tractor here in Amori, and we drove it down there, and then we joined this other tractor that was from the 60s. I think it was all colorful and full of flowers. It was a
Oh,
hippie tractor.
And
So there
then,
was this orange
yeah,
tractor,
go
and
ahead.
so of course again we know nothing about farming or driving tractors. And it just so happened that there was this very nice young man from Canada. He was a volunteer, and he had grew up in a farm, and so he was the first one to
That's right.
teach us how to plow and to run a tractor to plow the land.
Yeah, we
So
were
that's
going.
how
Remember those fields, Dad? I remember one field, it was like the local people were like, yeah, okay, if you want to, we'll give you this land. And people, because of the distribution system, we had built a really strong trust with the local leaders. So I remember one day was sitting around with me and my colleague Peter and two local gentlemen, one of whom was from the JA, or he was, so he is a Japan agricultural member. And we discussed the idea, and he was like, it's not impossible. It's not impossible if you really want to, but the farming know-how lies with members of the community who are 60 to 80 years old. So they can't go in there and chop down these trees and reclaim this land. So that's the gap we filled. So we just so happened to have this guy from Canada, and we just went in there and chainsaws and digging things up. And we had this volunteer from Yamagata who would come in her 4-wheel Jeep and, tie a rope around the trunk and dig it out. And they would tell us what to do. Like, okay, well, we need this all chopped, and then put this stuff on the ground, and then do this. And then we would go in with volunteers and just do it.
right.
Because you would imagine, even around that time, what are we talking about, 3 years after 2011, that it probably was still difficult to get supplies, food up to the area. So having some locally grown vegetables would have been such a great help to the local people, I imagine. Plus, it feels good to know that this is from a neighbor farm, and it's kind of a sign of recovery too, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. It's them being able to take care of themselves and their neighbors again, rather than just being given supplies.